Morning, everyone. I wanted to just give you an introduction into your first option for animation, and that's going to be FlipaClip. I'm going to use my iPad here because I assume everyone mostly probably has an iPhone. So I don't have an iPhone, but I assume it's going to be a little bigger for you to see, so I'll use this. Here's FlipaClip. I'll open it up. This is probably actually the most convenient option in terms of your three options that I gave you, so I suggest this one. I know some of you want to work on your computer, but I wish we could download this on a computer, but it has to be mobile. There are ways around that. I'm not going to make you do that. But if you have different choices, again, this is the one I think you should use. But again, I'll give you demos on all three. All right, so here's FlipaClip. We're going to go to the plus sign down here to create a new animation. I'll just call this test 2. I already have a test 1, so you can just call this test. And you can also, what's nice about FlipaClip, you can choose a background, and they have some kind of basic scenes, and then they also have some paper textures. So feel free to pick one. I'm gonna choose just kind of let's do a paper one. And then you can choose the size. And for this, I'm sorry if that's hard to see. There you go. You have probably the basic one is YouTube, and then you have Instagram 1x1, TikTok. If you want to populate and add to your TikTok. So there's a good amount of nice options here. I'm going to stick to YouTube 720p, and we'll go with that for now. Feel free to try the other ones. And then I'll create the project. And here's my background and my first frame. So here's your drawing tool, your basic drawing tool. If you click on it, you'll get some options here. So you have the actual drawing tool, you have a pen, and then you have size and color. If you click on the pen, you'll actually get some other options that are going to give you some slightly different drawing qualities. They're all kind of pretty similar. None of them are too different, but just so you can see it, here's a pencil, and when you do that one, it's just it's a little lighter, and it's sort of like a pencil to me. If you want to make the size bigger, you're going to kind of hold and drag your finger or your stylus, whatever, up and down, and it'll make your size bigger. So there's the pencil. Here's the paintbrush. This is pretty much a solid, I think, color. Allows you to blend. If you click on the color box, you'll get some different options here. So your opacity of your mark, you can obviously change your color. And here's your pen. I think this is pretty much a solid full color from the beginning. Pretty much these settings are just going to adjust the opacity, I think, and the size and the quality of your mark. So you could theoretically get everything from any of these, but again, it's nice to have options. And then you have this sort of marker that sort of layers on top. So if you want different qualities when you color in your different images, then you can choose those. Okay, so those are your basic drawing tools. I'm going to stick to the pen for now. And then you have an eraser. Again, you have, when you click on that, you'll have sort of the same options. Hard edge, soft edge, and just erase all that. You have, I believe, a selection tool, which will allow you to select an area. I'm sure we'll use that later. And then you have text. And we're not going to insert some text right now. So let's draw something. You do have some tools right here. I think some shapes, lines. You have the undo and the move forward. I'm sure that'll be useful to you. And then we'll go over some of those other options later. Down here you have your frames. So right now we only have one frame. You have a little plus sign next to that. So that'll add a second frame. Obviously this is animation, so you're going to be working with multiple frames. And just so you know, I think I skipped this part. You do have the ability to choose frames per second. We're going to stick with 12 right now. I know that's half of what we normally do in Blender, but that is, since we're going to kind of be drawing these, it's going to make it a little easier. So if you watch that video with Spider-Man, this is technically, when you do 12 frames per second, you're animating on 2s, because you're holding that for 2 seconds, pretty much. Or sorry, 2 frames per, instead of 24, you're doing 12. All right, let's try some basic animation out. Let's draw some things. For this first test animation, again, we're going to keep it simple. You do have layers in this application, which is nice because we can move things around. So we're all going to do this on layer 1. I'm going to draw a simple kind of shape object. And I'm going to use 2 colors on this. So let's draw an apple. A little thick. And do that. And you can kind of clean this up too. That thinner. Use at least 2 colors here. Obviously, in this case, we're gonna have to draw some things, but won't be too bad. I'm gonna kind of get a brown for the stem of this. And here's my very simple apple. Now, let's test some things out. Okay, so now we have our apple, and we can start to kind of make some animations happen. Easy way to create a new frame based on your old frame. Hold down on that frame you want to copy. You have this little icon here where it's a plus sign to the next frame. That should actually create a new frame. You'll see that go lighter. So that's sort of the onion skin. It's telling you what's on the previous frame. So if you were drawing this, then you could see what's underneath, which is kind of nice. Now, I'm going to undo that. Or I'm just going to delete it, sorry. And I'll do it again. This time I want to actually click on this copy first. And then you'll see this clipboard appear. And instead of just adding a new frame to the right side after frame 1, I can clipboard to another frame. And that's going to copy this frame and make a second frame. Okay, so now we've duplicated frame 1. It's the same thing, but what we can do is use our selection tool to select our apple. So I just drew a circle around it. And now I'm gonna click outside of that center. See that center point? That's gonna just move the center of my selection. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to click kind of in this square, and that should move my apple a little bit. Again, I can also resize the apple. I'll undo that. And I can rotate by going to the side. So I'm going to rotate this a little bit. And keep in mind, 12 frames here is a 1 second. So you can be a little more generous here with the rotation. I'm going to go down. I'm going to clipboard again to the next frame. Now, notice that copied frame 1 because that was still on my clipboard. So let me redo that. I'm going to do frame 2. So I'll do the copy again, and then clipboard. And now we should have frame 3. I don't see the onion skin because this is still above frame 2. So now I can select it again, and I'm going to move it just a little bit, and I'm going to rotate some more. What I'm shooting for is a full rotation about half a second, so 6 frames. So I'm going to go a little more here, and then I'm good. So again, I'm going to copy and then clipboard. And then I can do the same thing. Select my apple, rotate it a bit. And let's hit play for now just to check it. All right, so we got our apple spinning. And I'm going to do some more. So I'll do it one more or 2 more times. Copy, clipboard over, select, rotate, and add, sorry, not that. Again, hold on 5, copy, clipboard, select, and I'm going to rotate so it's kind of facing up again. Now I'm going to move it a little bit. All right. Now, again, at 12 frames per second, your animation is going to be pretty choppy depending on how much you move it. So if I had to do this again, I would kind of slow this down and do a little more of a gradual drawing. But again, this is just a test. So let's add some more. We'll try to get, we'll try to get at least 2 seconds here. Now, we can definitely go back in and say, let's do that, in fact. I'm going to start back at frame 1. I'm going to duplicate this or copy it just like I've been doing. So copy clipboard over. Now again, I have 2 frames here that are the same. So instead of maybe doing the same amount as frame 3, I'm going to go about halfway. And so that adds a little bit more, and we can extend this animation just by going in, duplicating some of these layers, and then adding frames in between them. And that'll smooth out our animation a little bit. There it goes. So let's do that. I'm going to add a frame in between each one. We'll make this a whole 12 frames, so half a second until it kind of flips all the way around. Again, copy here, clipboard, select, rotate just a little bit this time. Again, let's watch that. So now it's going a little slower, a little smoother. I'll do one in between 7 and 8. Sorry, one between, 7 and 8. And then one between 9 and 10. Basically, you're going to do this full sort of rotation in 12 frames. And then I'll just add one more. And just drop it a little bit, just like that. So now we have a 12 frame animation. It's a little bit smoother. And we're going to do 12 more frames. Now, at this point, what we want to do is we want to take a bite out of this. So again, I'm going to continue to copy this over. I will make it a little bit bigger too in this next frame. So while I'm doing this, you can zoom in, by the way, by pinching. You know how to do that. If you want to, draw with more detail, you can do it that way too. All right, so I'm going to just enlarge this a little bit in frame 13. Again, I'll copy and paste, and I'll enlarge one more time. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start taking a bite out of the apple. So in the next frame, 15, I'm going to use my eraser. Remember, when you take your eraser, you can change the size and also the softness of the edge. I want a hard edge, so put that to 0%. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, sorry, that's a little big. I'm going to take kind of a bite out of it. Just a small bite first. Okay, and then I'll copy that over. I'll take a slightly bigger bite. Okay, and copy that over. And then on 17, we're going to take a big chunk out. And if you want, you can kind of double this up if you want to take a slower pace here. So what I'll do here, I'll just copy this over, leave that one as is, and then on 19, again, I'll take a bigger bite. Okay, copy that over. Again, leave that as is. Copy that over again. And then this time I'll take a bite out of the other side. And copy that over. Take another big bite. Obviously, this is not actually how you eat an apple, but we're going to do this with our food, so just to make it easy. And then we'll do 24. And here I'm just going to take a big chunk out. And we'll leave the step. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, let me just go over sharing and exporting. So once your animation is done, you're going to click up here. You're going to make movie. You have some options. You have YouTube here. You can go straight to that if you want. You also have MP4, which is your video file, or you have GIF. And you can choose either one. This is pretty short. I'm going to just do a GIF for now. And then you can make your movie. You shouldn't get that, but I'm going to hit replace. And then it'll make your movie. Again, if you get an option here to share, you can go to YouTube. You can go to more. I'm going to save to my device. And then that should be on your photos. And in on iPhone, you can just go to Photos. It'll be in your library, and then that you should be able to share through email. You could save it to your Google Drive. I think you should be able to go to Classroom straight from there. So that's how you're going to share that and turn that in. Okay, so just to now go ahead and give that a shot. I'm going to give you some options on this though, just so we have some variety. Draw whatever kind of food item you want. It does not have to be an apple, piece of pizza with some toppings on it, a banana, a hamburger, a hot dog. Try to have 3 colors on it, and then again just make it rotate, move a little bit. I didn't mean to, but it sort of rolls, bounces, then gets eaten with your eraser. Make it 2 seconds, 24 frames. Again, we're doing 12 frames per second, so do those things and then send me your animation and you're good to go. Let me know how it goes. Send me any questions.